Good evening, everyone. Could I have roll call, please?
Council members Singleton?
Here.
Haynes?
Present.
Campion?
Here.
Cruz?
Present.
Powers?
Here. Okay, we're going to have the flag salute and the silent prayer. If everyone will stand. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I did it again, Steve. I'm so sorry. Do you have anything to report back from our closed session?
Good evening, Mayor and Council members. City Council is in closed session this evening on public employee performance evaluation and conference with legal counsel on anticipated litigation, and there's no action to report.
Okay, video statement, please. Ms. Liz.
This meeting of the Galt City Council is being videotaped in its entirety and will be cablecast without interruption on Metro Cable 14, the Government Affairs channel on the Comcast and SureWest cable systems. Tonight's meeting can be seen on Channel 14 and will also be webcast at www.sacmetrocable.tv this Friday and Saturday mornings at 9 a.m. Tonight's meeting can also be seen via live video streaming on the city's website at www.ci.galt.ca.us. A DVD copy is also available for checkout from any library branch. Members of the audience wishing to address council should fill out a speaker identification form and give it to the clerk. Please speak into the microphone when addressing council and state your name for the record.
Thank you, Liz. Okay, council, any agenda approval, additions, and or deletions? Anyone want to pull anything? Okay, then we're back to our presentations, and we'll start off with Meals on Wheels.
Good evening, Mayor and City Council. Thank you for allowing us to provide you a presentation on our Meals on Wheels program. We have Amanda Diaz from Meals on Wheels by ACC in the audience. She'd come up and start her presentation. We appreciate it.
Good evening, Mayor and Council members. My name is Amanda Diaz. I am the Nutrition Services Manager for Meals on Wheels by ACC. I oversee our congregate nutrition program and as well as the dietitian for the program. I'm overseeing menu production and our food safety program. I will be providing you with some service updates and highlights regarding services that are being provided here in the City of Galt, as well as some other highlights of some upcoming activities and things that we're also involved here locally. For an overview, our program provides nutrition services to older adults aged 60 years or better via one of two programs, either our congregate nutrition program or our home delivered meals program. And currently we're serving about 2,000 participants each day throughout the Sacramento County area, as well as now we've added Western Placer County for the home delivered meals program. And that started back in January of this year. Through the support of the City of Galt, as well as the Parks and Recreation Department, Meals on Wheels has been able to provide service here since the inception of our program back in July of 2010. So we're very grateful for that developed and continued partnership to provide direct service to your residents. Now we'll take a look at the direct or service highlights for fiscal year 2013 and 14. We'll start with the congregate nutrition program. And here in Galt, we have one of our 23 dining locations at the Chipola Community Center. We serve lunch Monday through Friday. And in addition to lunch, there are other social services and activities that are also supported by City of Galt and Parks and Recreation staff who staff the program, as well as the many volunteers that also support those services. For the fiscal year of 2013-14, we served a total of 83 participants over that year of service, and that was totaled 7,899 meals. For our home delivered meals program, we provide service via 3 different meal routes in your community. We have one hot meal route where we provide a daily hot meal delivered. And then we have 2 frozen meal routes where we provide a delivery 1 time per week of 5 frozen meals. The service numbers for that program for last year, we served 47 participants, and that totaled 5,351 meals. So for the total of last year, we served a total of 130 Galt residents, serving 13,250 meals. Yeah. So we're pretty proud of that. Absolutely. And what is unique in this community is this is actually our only city where we're only serving the residents of that city, city or unincorporated areas. We don't have other individuals coming in from other locations. So it truly is the service that we're providing to your community. In order to do that, we cannot do it alone. We have 23 staff and over 500 volunteers that provide service for support services for our program. Here in Galt, for our Cafe Congregate program, we have around 15 volunteers, maybe 10 on average per day. They provided 2,159 service hours last year for our program. So that encompasses everything from helping to serve lunch, to support services during lunch, wrapping our plasticware and napkins, serving milk, helping to set up, clean up, those types of things, and other activities. For our home delivered meals program, we have a wonderful group of individuals. We have about 50 volunteers as part of our home delivered meals volunteer group that provided 760 hours of volunteer service for those 3 routes that we have in our community. And we have one particular volunteer that I wanted to point out in our next slide. Ms. Gloria Stemler, who is the coordinator. Long-standing supporter of the nutrition program here in Galt, well before Meals on Wheels, I think well before the Sacramento County, before they were the program provider. And she is our coordinator for your community. So her, along with our other volunteers in your community, are making sure that those routes are manned each day, have a volunteer each day, and are providing service to participants. So because we thought Ms. Stemler was such a wonderful person for our program and in your community, each year we nominate a person for the Heroes of Human Services Award for Sacramento County, 1 person from our cafe program, 1 for our home delivered meals program. So this year we nominated Gloria, and she was the recipient for District Number 5.
Great.
So many candidates, she was selected on October 7th at the Board of Supervisors Chamber. She was provided the award. And the picture on the right shows her receiving the award from Supervisor Natoli. And to the right of that is our home delivered meals operations supervisor, Wilson Ham. And then to the right of Gloria, 2 of our other key volunteers that assist with our coordination efforts for the program. So we're very proud, very excited to be affiliated with this wonderful group of people and volunteers. And then lastly, one of our other big events and supports, and we love to collaborate with, South County Services, along with Mayor
Powers.
Powers, sorry, I was thinking Powell, so sorry, Mayor Powers. We help and support the food service aspect of the Galt Senior Luncheon, and we're going on, I think, year number 8 total. We've supported it since 2010, our first year of service, and we provide the food and meal coordination, serve about 175 to 200 seniors each year with that event. It's a lot of fun. We're just getting planning underway for the 2014 event, so we're very excited to be a part of that as well for your community. Any questions?
Council, questions or comments?
Doing a great job.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Don't go, because I have a few.
Sure.
I'm very pleased I'm going to wear 2 hats. I'm going to wear the city and my South County Services hat, and because we do collaborate with the city and with South County Services and with you to do this senior holiday luncheon. And we appreciate the support that you've given us. It's my favorite thing of the whole year. It is so much fun. And we get all of the city staff here. You can see the chief up there in the corner with me, and we go out, they go out and they serve all the seniors. It's a day when they feel like very special people, and it's wonderful. It's wonderful. And on another note, Gloria Stemler worked with us first when we had the Meals on Wheels with the volunteers. And that's a great thing about a collaborative. When somebody starts working on something, then they can take it over. And that's, I think, what we've been all about in the last couple of years is collaboration, volunteerism, and then flying your little wings by yourself. And you've been a great help. I work with you every year. And I want to thank you for your service, too. And we're looking forward to you on, mark your calendars, everybody, December 11th.
December 11th.
Okay.
Get
Thank
the
you.
Santa hats ready.
Yep, get those hats ready.
Thank you.
Thank you, Amanda.
Mayor, may I just acknowledge April Hand? She's in the audience. She's our Parks and Rec employee that basically handles all the cooking, coordinates all those things. I just want to acknowledge her that she's in the audience. So thank you.
Thank you, Amanda. Okay, now we're on to the community of character, pride, and community. Are you going to go first?
We can all go down together.
Okay, let's go down together. Sounds like fun to me.
Good evening, City Council. Thank you again for having us here, and hi to all of the city leaders and city employees that are here, and so on and so forth. Community of Character is here tonight to make some presentations again. We have 6 character traits that we celebrate in the community. They're on a 2-month cycle. So every 2 months we change. This presentation is for Pride and Community, which was in July and August. And we're currently in the responsibility cycle, so if you have any nominees, the nominees come from community members. And the people that are being recognized tonight are very deserving of the recognition that they're going to get. So thank you. I think we'll have Mary Lou and... No, I didn't. I think we'll have Mary Lou Powers and Barbara Payne make the first presentations, and Mary Lou is going to read the narration.
Can my Independence Day Committee, our Independence Day, the City of Galt Independence Day Committee, people please come on down. That's Kelly and April and Brenda, Sharon, and I guess Robin's not here, correct? And Mike and I nominated these wonderful group of ladies for their help every year with the Independence Day celebration. And I just got told I'm going to read it, so come on up. Here, you can stand up. I'll keep Robin. I'll keep Robin because she's not here. Okay, here goes. I am nominating the City of Galt Independence Day Volunteer Committee members, Brenda Renfro, raise your hand, Brenda, April Hanchy, Robin Nelson, who's not here, Sharon Hafner, and Kelly Kigi, for demonstrating their pride in the community. These individuals were committed to volunteering several hours a month, beginning in December, to make the 2014 Independence Day celebration a fun-filled and friendly day for the citizens of Galt. They strived for a day that was a low to no cost event in Galt. As members of the committee, they worked on different aspects for the event. Brenda Renfro was in charge of the parade, which gets bigger and better each year. The parade involves many different types of entries, and it takes skill and patience to successfully map out the parade. April Hanchy decorates the Cibola Center into an old country fair theme, working with local artists and citizens who would enter their exhibits for prize ribbons. Robin Nelson and Sharon Hafner were in charge of the Kevin Ton Memorial 5K run, and Kelly Kingy was our director at large, volunteer who worked whenever she was needed. These women spent countless hours putting their hearts and souls into ensuring that the citizens of Galt would have a day to come out, meet their neighbors, participate in activities, listen to a band, and enjoy a great fireworks display in their hometown. Without the effort of these ladies, this event would not have taken place. Their continued commitment to our city and the pride they show to our community is greatly appreciated. Thanks, girls. Anybody want to say anything? Speak? Anybody speak? Okay.
Okay. Hi. Again, I'm April Hanchy. I did organize with the assistance of the volunteers and community members to make the Shibola Center available to the public to come in and share what people wanted to show for their talent. So thank you for the participation of the people that entered and for this award. Thank you.
Anybody else? Come on, Brenda.
Hello, my name is Brenda Renfro, and I'm actually the little coordinator for the parade. I just can't say enough with Armando's help and supervision along the way. I love doing the parade, and I think it's a great event for the city, and I'll keep continuing to do it, and hopefully it'll grow and grow each year and bigger and better as we go along. But thanks again for the opportunity.
Sure, and I just want to say for Robin and I that we really appreciate that the city has partnered up with us for the race. It's a great honor to honor Kevin, who his whole life was built with serving the public. And we just want to thank all the volunteers, chants members that helped us with the race, and it was a great success.
I just want to say thank you, and thank you for Mary Lou for asking me years ago to be on this committee. It's been a lot of fun doing it, and thank you so much. Thank you.
Okay, our next awardee is T.J. Gadati, and T.J., are you here? Yeah, you're here. And Winona, can you come up too, please? Winona. If Winona is here? Oh, there you are. Okay. I'll read the narration that Winona wrote for T.J. T.J. Gadati is most deserving of the Pride in Community Award. Over the past years, T.J. has spearheaded many activities which have made Galt a safer, more committed community. His involvement in the planning of the jail program, J-A-I-L, jail program, and the Galt Police Activities League, PAL, has greatly benefited the youth in our community with activities which have encouraged them to have positive relationships with local police officers. TJ has been active in organizing the Student Absent Review Board, SAR Board, SARB, which provides resources and referrals to truant students to assist them in getting back to school. He helps organize neighborhood block parties and national night out activities. He attends many local meetings, I see him all the time, of service clubs such as Galt Rotary, the Galt Business Builders, Galt Shop Local, and the Galt Character and Sports Committee, assisting them with various community projects. His mission to help local businesses by keeping them up to date on trends in crime has benefited many of them and aided local law enforcement assisting them. Thanks for the emails, by the way. Many of us in the community also appreciate TJ's timely messages of crime activity in our geographic areas. TJ Goddati's involvement in the community of Galt has benefited all of us and has made this a more caring community. He is an example for all of us of a person who truly expresses his pride in community. And again, nominated by Winona Cassidy. So,
I just want to say thanks to everybody. We have an incredible community, incredible support in our neighborhoods, in our schools, and incredible support at the police department in the city. So thank you for the award. I appreciate it very much. Have a good night. I'm going to watch the Giants. Sorry.
Okay, I am proud to ask a good friend of Galt, Frank Duell, to come up, please. Frank Duell is an example for all of us for his demonstration of pride in the community. He has taken on a commitment to make the Galt community the best it can be. Even though Frank lives outside of the city limits, his commitment knows no boundaries. He has offered his Western Valley Ranch to be used by the community in any way that will benefit the community. He believes the community should not only help the needs of the people, but also they should be able to have a beautiful town in which to live. Pretty good for a man. Frank is an active member of the City of Galt Beautification Committee. Through the Galt Sunrise Rotary, he tries to help those even outside this country. His work with the Real Men's Club helps those in the community who ask for support. His positive attitude shows the pride he has in the community in which he lives. And you do have to say.
Yes, thank you, everybody, all of you, councilman and mayor. And I want to thank the Galt Sunrise Rotary Club, my club members being here. They're all just about here. Yeah. And President McKish over there. So thank you so much. That's all I get to say.
You deserve it, Frank. Well, that was a good one. Thank you very much. Thank you, Sue, for always doing this. You and Barbara, we appreciate that you're looking out for the community. I'm going to use my mayoral privilege right now and see if it's okay if the rest of the council will approve of, after consent, moving G3 up, because I do see that there's a lot of people in the audience out there that are, it's the Town Memorial. And so I'd like to bring that up after the consent, so the people that are waiting in the audience don't have to wait so long. G3. Is that okay?
Fine with me.
Is that okay with you, Kurt, since it was your idea? Okay. All right. Okay, Liz, do you mind reading the public comment now, please?
Yeah. Under Government Code Section 54954.3, Members of the public may address the council on non-agenda items. Speakers may address council on any agenda item during consideration of the item. Speakers shall restrict their comments to issues that are within the subject matter jurisdiction of the City Council and limit comments to a maximum of 3 minutes. Please fill out a speaker sheet located on the table inside the entrances to the council chambers and forward the completed speaker sheet to the city clerk. Rick Walters? There he is.
There he is.
Good evening, Council. Rick Walters. I live in the city of Galt, and I want to take this opportunity to thank Global, the water meter implementation plan going forward. I finally got my water meter in after 21 years. I'm real happy about that. I want to thank John at the project manager at Global, and I want to thank the installers that put it in. They're very knowledgeable and sharp guys. So I just wanted to say, John, if you're listening, thank you very much.
Thanks, Rick.
And
We appreciate that.
I've heard that from a number of people. They're doing a good job.
Oh, great.
Okay.
Very good to hear. Liz?
Evelyn
I'm sorry.
Satterfield.
I'm here tonight to ask the City Council to pass an ordinance banning the growing, selling, and harvesting of marijuana in the city. There is a lot of homes that the marijuana is grown in the backyard. It affects everybody's health. Not only my health, which has been in jeopardy for a year because of it, but everybody. In fact, little children's affects very strongly. Lodi, Elk Grove, Sacramento have all put in this ban for growing marijuana in open spaces. Why doesn't the city of Galt do it now? You banned it from dispensaries having in Galt. Let's ban it from homes, especially open areas. And TJ knows because he's been out to my house and smelled the stink that I have to live with every day.
Wow.
And there's a number of neighbors that have called and complained to the police department. And they said, go to the city council and get a ban done. So when are we going to get it? I mean,
I think you'll be surprised to know that probably sooner than later Barbara was going to bring that up this evening, and we're going to start working on it.
Just start now?
Well, you just asked when we're going to start. We're going to start, yeah.
Why hasn't it been done before? This has been going on for over, what, almost 2 years, right next door to me. And nothing has been done. We get this police department out there and they go, it's legal. It's not illegal. Marijuana is illegal. So why is it being so slow getting it done?
I think I'd like to hear from the city attorney on this.
Yeah.
Well, currently, the cultivation of marijuana by people that have medicinal marijuana cards is a lawful activity. It is something that is within the discretion of the city council to regulate or ban. But at this point in time, the city does not have any ordinances on the book relating to the cultivation of marijuana by people that hold medical marijuana cards.
Okay.
Is it legal for somebody to grow it for other people in a private residence?
It is legal for people to grow marijuana on behalf of other folks that have medical marijuana cards. So there can be a cooperative activity that occurs. Yes.
So in other words, the poor publicans just tough luck. That's what they're saying to us.
Go ahead, say something.
I think what I would like to ask the city attorney is to come back to council with a report on what the alternatives are for the city with regard to the growing of medical marijuana on private property. I think that'd be the best way to approach it for council to consider it as well as the public, because there may be legal issues that, which the city is prevented from enforcing. And I would like to know what that is before we direct them to do something that maybe is not permissible.
Well, the first step, like you said, is looking into
Have the
it,
city
and
attorney give us a report.
that was actually going to be brought up this afternoon.
And that's it. So we have no choice but to sit and deal with the stink, in plain English.
Yeah, I would like to comment that it was my plan to bring this up tonight because I had a citizen that contacted me and asked me to come out to her house. And I went out there, and she opened her back door, and the smell of the marijuana was so strong that it just about knocked you over. But the point I'm trying to make is she contacted us to let us know what the problem was. I don't happen to have that problem around my home, so I wasn't aware of it. But because she did speak up, and because you're speaking up, it was the plan for the council to consider getting an ordinance like you're asking for.
And it's going to take how long?
Well, the city attorney will have to draft it and bring it back to the council.
No idea of how long it's going to take? Because, this is getting exasperating.
I'm sure it is, and the sooner that we know about, the sooner we can start working on something in the way of an ordinance that would satisfy you. But we need to hear from you. And we are hearing from the people, and we're working on it immediately.
Our city attorney gets back to us pretty fast. It's not going to be a very long time, but there is a process. It's not, it will be very short compared.
I understand there is a process, but a lot of other cities are passing them quite quickly.
Well, I imagine we will too.
Because, this is, you can't go out in my backyard. Let's put it that way. I go out there and I come in with a headache. What am I supposed to do? Live in an enclosed house for the rest of my life, waiting for them to ban this kind of stuff?
I think we're saying that we don't want you to be in that position, and we are going to get something out as quickly as possible.
Okay. Well, I just keep calling the police department then.
And I appreciate you coming tonight and speaking up.
We do.
Thank you. Harvesting? Why is that legal for them to hire people to come in and harvest?
Madam Mayor, if I could interject for a minute. I understand that the direction from council to come back with a report relating to the options for the regulation or ban of medicinal marijuana, and I will do that. But I want to remind the council that we're under public testimony, and this is an opportunity for people to come forward and provide their testimony to the council, and it's not a forum for a question and answer session. So I recommend to the mayor that we allow this individual to complete her testimony and then move on with the meeting.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Okay. Now we're at, we have the consent calendar. Do you mind reading all of the consent calendar, please, all 8 items?
Okay. Number 1, approval of the minutes of the special meetings of September 16th and October 7th, and the regular meeting of September 16th. Number 2, approval of the City of Galt warrants. Number 3, amend Measure A, Transportation Mitigation Fee Program Agreement on Operating Protocols. Number 4, Housing-Related Parks Grant Program. Number 5, extension to the current agreement for SunGuard accounting software. Number 6, sale of surplus police vehicles. Number 7, extension of contract with Mays & Associates to perform auditing services for the City of Galt. And number 8, approval of the Treasurer's Report for the periods ending July and August 2014.
Do I have a motion to approve?
So moved. Second.
Call for the vote, please.
Whoever you pick for whoever brought the...
Vice Mayor Singleton?
Aye.
Councilmember Payne?
Aye.
Councilmember Campion?
Aye.
Councilmember Cruz?
Aye.
Mayor Powers?
Hi.
Unanimous?
Okay, so we're going to move up G3, and do you mind reading that, please, Liz?
Approval of construction change order for the Central Galt Interchange landscaping improvements, Phase 1 project to construct the Fallen Heroes Memorial.
Okay, that's you, Mr. Winkler?
Madam Mayor and council members, this item is to consider a sole source approach to expediting completion of the Fallen Heroes Memorial Project adjacent to City Hall. And Ms. Gwen Owens, our city engineer, will be making a brief presentation of this.
Good evening. Staff is recommending that City Council authorize a change order to the Central Galt Interchange landscaping contract for the construction of the Fallen Heroes Memorial. Staff believes the preliminary estimate of $55,000 is a competitive price for the work. This change order will save approximately 6 to 8 weeks in the schedule as well as the associated costs with the normal bid process and contracting award. If approved, staff will finalize negotiations for the change order, and the improvements actually include landscaping, the plaza, sidewalk to the plaza, the donation paver area, the seat wall, the foundation, the monument foundation, and the monument lighting. The monument is being purchased by Champs, and then a future phase will be path light. And that concludes my presentation. I'll take any questions.
Questions? City? Council? Okay, then, pardon me?
No questions, just comment?
Comment?
It's about time we got it done. Thank you.
Yes, and thank you, and thank you, Champs, for all your hard work to get us here.
Absolutely.
Okay, do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Call for the vote, please, Liz.
Vice Mayor Singleton?
Aye.
Councilmember Payne?
Aye.
Councilmember Campion?
Aye.
Councilmember Cruz?
Aye.
Mayor Powers?
Hi.
Unanimous?
Thank you, and thank you all of you that are out there in the audience
Thank you.
for all your hard work. I know there's a bunch of you out there. You've been very dedicated for a very long time, and I see all your smiles because you know we're getting it started, and that's great news.
And may I make one more comment?
Mm-hmm.
We do have the ride on Saturday for the Memorial Time Fund on Saturday. So I think it was 8 o'clock at Shibola Center, correct? Starting? Okay.
Yep.
Thank you.
Got my whole family in on that one. You get to meet the whole gang.
That's right.
Okay, now we're back to F1, Emerald Park Unit 22 rezone, and that's to you, Mr. Stewart.
Thank you. And Chris Elias, our senior planner, will give the brief presentation.
Good evening. My name is Chris Arias, Senior Planner with the city's Community Development Department. The item you have before you is the Emerald Park Unit 22 rezone. The project site is located on 3 parcels, making up a little over 8 acres, and it's located east of Stockton Boulevard, north of Ashboro Lane, and south of Dead Man's Gulch in the northeast area specific plan area. The zoning is Park Creek Village PUD. The applicant is proposing to rezone the subject property from R1C ARC, Maximum Density Residential Planned Unit Development, to Park Creek Village, which we call Park Creek Village PUD for short. And they want to rezone it to R1C ARC, which is a standard single-family residential designation with 6,500 square foot lot minimum requirement. A planned unit development, or PUD, allows for variations in the development standard requirements in exchange for features within the project that may benefit the city. The chart on the screen shows the standard R1C zoning regulations and those of the Park Creek Village PUD. If the rezone request is approved, the Park Creek Village PUD standards will no longer apply and the regular R1C development standards will take effect. There is an approved map for the site. It is consistent with the PUD zoning, and it allows for 39 detached, single-family, age-restricted residential lots in a gated community, and then with private streets. The applicant is working on a new map that will be consistent with the R1C zoning. It will go to Planning Commission at some point in the future for consideration. In order to approve the rezone request, we have to make the appropriate findings. And the proposed rezone is consistent with the general plan and the Northeast Area Specific Plan. The R1C zoning requirement of 6,500 square foot lots is consistent with the 0 to 6 unit density of the general plan and the density of the R1C SP Northeast Area Specific Plan designation. The rezone is also compatible with the neighboring uses and zones. The areas to the north and the east are zoned and developed at R1C, which is identical to the proposed, and R2 or medium density is located to the south. Staff recommends that you open the hearing for public comment and that the City Council introduces the ordinance rezoning the site to R1C, waiving the first reading, and read by title only, and continue to the next regular meeting for adoption. And that concludes the presentation. Staff and the applicant are available for questions.
Okay, I'm going to open it up to public hearing and then comments from council after. Is that okay? All right, so I'm going to open it up to public hearing. Is there anyone that wanted to speak on this project, Liz?
I have no speaker sheet.
Okay, no speaker sheet. Mr. Guttridge? Did you fill out your speaker sheet? I said, did you fill out
your speaker sheet? His mic's not on. See if you could turn that on, please.
Mayor, council members, Mike Guthrie, General Park Company. Just want to say one of the reasons we're going back to zoning it for R1C, our lots will probably be in that, not in that 65, and close to that 8,000. But we just feel like when we got into a little bit farther into the detail of trying to put seniors in there, on 40 lots, the problem is you run into is, and as you know, you have to have a swimming pool, you got to have a clubhouse that was going to be fully block wall gated and so on and so forth. And that cost in relationship to 40 was over and above what there was any profit in it. It worked out very well with us when we did the 150 lots, but it does make a difference when you go from 150 to 40. And that's the reason in the trade, because of the rezone. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Mike.
Thanks, Mike.
Okay, anyone else for the public comment? I'm going to close the comment. And then, do you want to read the ordinance again, please, Liz? Or any comments from council? You guys are awfully quiet tonight.
I have some time.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, the recommended action, introduce an ordinance amending the district zoning map of the City of Galt for Emerald Park Unit 22, waive the first reading and read by title only, and continue to the next regular meeting for adoption.
So moved. Second.
Call for the vote, please, Liz.
Vice Mayor Singleton?
Aye.
Councilmember Payne?
Aye.
Councilmember Campion?
Aye.
Councilmember Cruz?
Aye.
Mayor Powers?
Aye.
Unanimous?
Thank you, Liz. Now we're at election to ask voters whether, oh, I'm sorry, I'm up here. Excuse me. Ordinance regarding use of parks, use of skate parks, and camping.
Hey, good evening again, Mayor and council members. This item was first brought to the City Council back on September 16th, and as I explained at that meeting, the reason for bringing forward these three ordinances is because within the last year there have been several incidents in our parks where people have been conducting themselves in a manner where frankly they were interfering with the enjoyment of other users of the park, or they were affecting the facility itself. And both the Parks and Rec Department and the Police Department requested that I prepare ordinances for your consideration, which would give them a greater ability to control the activity of residents in those situations where they are not exercising common sense as it relates to the use of our parks facilities. So these three ordinances, which are presented for your consideration tonight, are intended to promote the enjoyment and safety of our parks and our park facilities by ensuring that in the unusual circumstance where we have folks that are not conducting themselves appropriately, that we have the opportunity to control that activity. When I came forward in September with these ordinances, the City Council requested that these ordinances be placed on the city website, and also that we place an ad in the local newspaper making people aware of the fact that the city was considering the adoption of these ordinances. We did do that. There was an ad placed in the Galt Herald on October, I believe, 1st and 8th, and the ordinances have been on the website for about a month now. At the last City Council meeting in September, the Council also did provide certain comments on these ordinances, and so there have been certain modifications. In your packet, you'll notice that the changed areas of the ordinance are highlighted to reflect the incorporation of City Council comments in both the use of parks ordinance, which is the first ordinance. There were no additions to the skate park ordinance. And then in the last ordinance on camping, there were some comments related to permitted camping, and there have been changes reflected in that ordinance as well. So all three ordinances are brought forward again for City Council consideration. The recommended action this evening, if the Council desires, is to introduce all three ordinances, waive first reading, and bring them back for adoption at a future meeting. If you do decide to act on these ordinances, my request is that you act on each ordinance independently. Be happy to answer any questions the Council has.
I guess the first question would be, has the Parks and Rec Commission had a chance to look at this yet?
Yes, these ordinances did go to the Parks and Rec Commission prior to the September 16th meeting.
Okay, thank you. Council?
I do have a comment on the one regarding or let me say a Parks and Rec director having the authority to make rules governing the public and their use of the public parks. I believe any additional rules or regulations should be at least reviewed by the Parks and Rec Commission. At that time, it would be agendized. The public would have an opportunity to come forth and comment before it becomes a rule. I think the parks belong to the public, and I don't want to do anything that's going to discourage the public from coming out and making use of them, especially at a time when we're encouraging our kids and our family to get away from the TV, get away from the video games, and be outdoors. We have quite a few changes and rules in this ordinance. I don't have any problems with those. And I think in the future, there's probably not going to be very many other rules to come up. So I don't think it would be difficult to, if we do have some other rules, to again, present them to the Parks and Rec Commission, give the public an opportunity to weigh in on them before they absolutely become a rule.
Okay, Council, any thoughts on that?
Well, I think this is, I generally agree with what Councilmember Payne is saying. I think, though, in the interest of time, if the director is establishing a rule, a new rule, it's probably in response to some new situation. So I think that she should have the authority to do that for the public safety and convenience. But at the same time, when enacting that new rule, I think it should be then reported to the commission and have the commission act on it as a body. So it would give the director the authority when he needs it, and then to have it later confirmed through a hearing or whatever process is deemed appropriate by the commission. Just a thought.
One of my concerns is that these rules have some pretty stiff penalties if they're violated, according to the ordinance. And because there are penalties if you break a rule, again, I think it's something that should be reviewed at least by the Parks and Rec Commission so the public could weigh in on it.
Madam Mayor, if I could,
Okay. Steve?
one point that I just want to make the council aware of. First of all, of the three ordinances that are before you this evening, two of them, the use of parks ordinance and the skate park ordinance, both have provisions that allow the director to enact additional rules and regulations subject to posting those rules. This is actually not something new in the city. This is actually something that has been going on for quite some time as it relates to the director establishing appropriate rules for parks facilities. And frankly, when we were revising these ordinances, I thought that it would be appropriate to actually codify what has been occurring up to this point in time. Looking at the ordinance relating to the Parks and Recreation Commission, there is a provision in there that says that the City Council can ask the Commission to perform such duties as may be assigned by the City Council. So if the Council desires to utilize the Parks and Rec Commission in the capacity as is being proposed, I think that's within your discretion. But I do think that it is a little bit of a unique function for them, because at the front end of this ordinance, it says that the purpose of the commission is to act in an advisory capacity to the City Council and to make recommendations to the City Council on policy matters. And I think what the council is proposing tonight is actually to review operational decisions of a director. So it's a little bit of a unique function. Like I said, I think the ordinance relating to the Parks and Rec Commission is flexible enough to allow it if that's where the council wants to go, but I wanted to at least point out that I think it would be a unique function for the Parks and Rec Commission to take on. Another option is that if the City Council is not comfortable with delegating that level of authority to staff as it relates to rules, we could add a provision that says that further rules made for individual parks may be established by resolution of the City Council. So we wouldn't have to amend the ordinance every time we had a unique set of rules for park facilities, but we could come forward with a resolution that had, say, an exhibit for each of the parks. Because I think what we have now and we would anticipate in the future is the rules are a little bit different for each facility. The rules that we have as it relates to Walker Park, where we had the artificial turf, are quite different than the rules that you'll see posted at the skate park. And I don't know, Armando, if you wanted to add any additional comments on that, but I just wanted to make the council aware that there was another option to deal with the concern expressed.
And I think my main reason for wanting it to be presented to the Parks and Rec Commission is not that they would have the authority to rule on it, but to give the public an opportunity to weigh in, to give their perspective. Just happened to have a Lodi newspaper where they were planning to charge a fee for photographers to take pictures at the park. And in this last issue, they did a survey of the people, and every one of them said they didn't think that's what they wanted to have happen. And the point is, I think it's better to get the information, give the public an opportunity to give their perspective, because you know, everybody has a different perspective, but I'd rather hear it before we make a rule. And that was why I was suggesting that it be go before the Parks and Rec Commission, because then it would be posted on the agenda, the public could read it. If they had a concern or a question, they would have an opportunity to bring it up. Otherwise, the rules are made and there's a sign that is painted and it's posted, and it becomes the rule. And rules, you know, you say rules and regulations, that's very broad. We can say it's for protecting the parks or whatever, but it doesn't clearly define the scope of that.
Okay, well, I'm going to add my 2 cents worth to it. I agree with Councilmember Campion up until the point of if it's going to go to the Parks and Rec Commission, like things go to the Planning Commission, as Steve says, it's not up to them to yay or nay it, so if it's going to go to the Parks and Rec, it should have to come back to the city council. And they're, like Kurt said, I think they're going to be few and far between. I don't think like every week we're going to have a new rule.
And after listening to what the city attorney said, I would agree that, we could do something similar to the language I think we did at the flea market. It would be operational for a period of time
Right.
until it gets before the council. And I think in retrospect, rethinking this, it should come to council because if it's going to be a change or a new rule or regulation, it could have financial impacts to, members of the public. Mm-hmm. The appropriate forum is here for public comment and concern. So I think that's probably a better avenue.
So how do you feel about that?
Okay, so are you saying it should come to the council?
If it's going to be a new rule, it would be ratified by resolution. As Steve pointed out, the resolution, because different rules could apply for different parks. The dog park, the skate park, Walker Park, you could have different rules. So I think rather than amending the ordinance, you do it by resolution, and the city council would then consider it at a public meeting where the public could comment.
But it would go to Parks and Rec like things go to the Planning Commission before they come to the city. I mean,
and that would be fine. That would just be an extra step as it comes to the council. And again, I just want to say I want to give the public an opportunity to weigh in on something.
That'll give them some opportunity.
And that's fine.
Yeah.
If that pleases the council, that's even better than what I asked for.
Right.
I would prefer to only go to council, but
Yeah.
because it becomes
a long
becomes
process.
that much more of a bureaucratic morass.
Right.
And
I agree.
And I would certainly be fine with that too, because the council is more open to the public, and it is televised as well. So I would be fine with that.
and we've all been really good about including the commissions in on everything that comes along with us right now. So I don't think that would be any different than what we're already doing, but bringing it up to put it in there is probably the way it should be. So, Kurt, do you want to make a motion?
Make that motion that the word.
We're doing
Well,
this one separately.
Were you doing each
So
one?
actually, before you make the motion, what I'd like to do is to request that you continue the matter.
Bring it back.
I will revise the first 2 ordinances to provide that rules for each of the parks can be established by resolution of the city council. And then what I'd like to do, since I don't want there to be a gap in time between the adoption of the ordinance and the rules, is I'd work with the Parks and Rec Department and we'd bring forward that resolution with the rules at the same time for your consideration and adoption. So would that work for the council?
So you wish to continue these tonight, is what you're saying?
Yeah.
With the verbiage.
Okay.
And I understand the direction to make that correction to the first 2 ordinances.
Okay.
And I'll bring them back revised at, maybe not the next meeting, but as soon as we get the resolution worked out and the companion rules for each of the parks, we'll bring those back.
But
Is that okay with everyone?
Let me ask a question. But we're all including in that, because for instance, our Parks Director has, had to make some temporary decisions in the interest of safety and issues going on, such as the skate parks. He will still be allowed to make those temporarily until it comes to council, correct?
Yeah, that's exactly what they said.
Right?
If that's the council's desire, but that's not what
Well, I'm thinking because there are some instances, because I've seen the instances, where he's had to shut down the skate park because some illicit activities were going on there, and he had to straighten it out and get the safety issue back in order before he could have people back in there.
that was my intent.
Yeah.
That was
So
my intent.
in addition to the resolutions to allow that the Parks and Rec Director would be allowed to enact rules on a temporary basis, say 45 or 60 days,
I like
subject
that better.
to ratification by the council.
Yeah, I like that.
Okay.
Yeah,
I'll
I
add
just want to
that.
make sure
Yeah.
that specific
Then I
comment
do
was
have
in there.
another question. Okay, according to the way I read this ordinance, it's not, the rule change is not effective unless it is posted on a sign. So we're saying that we're gonna make a rule, we're gonna make a sign, we're gonna post it.
It's already in there.
Is that gonna happen before it comes to the council or afterwards?
Well, it would have to be posted to be effective, because the rules that are actually listed in the ordinance, the public has notice of that because it's in the ordinance. If there's additional rules that the director makes or the city council makes by resolution, we need to give the public notice, and that would be by posting. So if there was an urgent situation that occurred, the Parks and Rec director could make the rule. It would have to be posted, which, I mean, that can be done pretty quickly. And then it would have to come back to the council for ratification within the period of time that the council ultimately identifies in the ordinance. And if the council didn't approve it, say at the end of the 45 or 60th day, then it would have to come down. The posting would come down.
Okay, Mark?
In reference to what Councilman Singleton's saying, that's already written into the ordinance in section 93706. So he still has the ability, if in the case of safety issues, to shut down a park. And for instance, like the skate park.
That's only in the skateboard ordinance, so I believe, isn't it?
But I don't see it being an issue with any other park at that point.
So there's, in the skate park ordinance, there is the authority to close the skate park, which is different than establishing rules. There is a separate section in that ordinance in 070 that says the director shall place and post signs. No, let's see, that deals with the, where am I? Oh, under 05, there, I think that's where the authority of the director to establish new rules and regulations. So that's the section that I think is going to be revised by council direction. But this section on closing skate parks, unless the council directs otherwise, that was going to be retained in the ordinance.
And I think that's good. I think that would cover an emergency without making a new rule and posting a sign and going through all of that. If it were something that needed to be handled immediately, it could be handled just by closing the park.
Right, for safety.
In this case, it's a state park.
Right. Okay.
Okay. Got it, Steve?
Yes, I do.
Are you sure? Okay. Then you're going to bring it back.
Do you need a motion to continue? Yeah, I was going to say.
Yeah, that'd be appropriate.
Then I would move
Okay.
that we continue these three items to a future date.
And-
To be determined by the city attorney.
And I would second it and thank the council for considering it.
Mm-hmm.
Call for the vote, please.
Vice Mayor Singleton?
Aye.
Councilmember Payne?
Aye.
Councilmember Campion?
Aye.
Councilmember Cruz?
Aye.
Mayor Powers?
Aye.
Unanimous?
Thank you very much, Liz. All right, now we are to you and to Steve again, the election to ask voters whether office of the city clerk shall be appointed by the city council. Excuse me.
Good evening again, Mayor and council members. I'll start off on this report and then turn it over to Liz. We just placed this on the agenda tonight just to remind the council and the public that the council did, back in April of this year, place an item on the ballot to ask the voters whether the office of city clerk should be appointed by the city council. And state law does require that a general law city like Galt have a city clerk. We've had an elected city clerk since the point in time that the city became incorporated back in around, I think it was 1946. But this particular job has changed quite a lot over the last 60-odd years. As we indicated in the staff report, over 2/3 of California cities now have an appointed clerk. that enables the city council to determine what qualifications are held by the person holding that particular position. And if in fact the voters do approve on November 4th to have the city clerk be appointed by the city council, then what would occur is the current city clerk, elected city clerk, would complete her term, and in 2016 then the city council would appoint a new city clerk with the qualifications that the city council believes are appropriate for that office. So with that, I want to turn it over to Liz to see if you have any additional comments you want to make.
Just a couple comments. And let me start by saying I do encourage everyone to vote yes on Measure C. As Steve said, back in 1946 when the town was incorporated, they established an elected city clerk position, which in looking through some of the minutes back from that long ago.
That would be interesting.
Yes, they are. They were typed up. Generally, they took minutes, clerical support for the city council, and that was about it for the job. Now, obviously, the position has evolved into a professional level position with professional job duties. And if this, let's just say the measure passes, at the point in time when my term's over or I'm gone, the city council can screen and hire a professional city clerk who is a certified municipal clerk or a master municipal clerk, depending on the level that the council wants. And somebody who's done the job before can step in, take over. And so I encourage a yes vote on Measure C. I have to say I've been asked a couple times, why don't you just keep running and not, hold the full-time position, but keep running for the part-time elected, it's not part-time, but the elected position, and you can collect benefits. And my answer is that I don't think that's what's best for the city. I could do that. I could do another couple terms, but in my opinion, that's not what's best for this city. So, again, I encourage a yes vote on Measure C.
And what you think is best is one person doing the duties and not two and collecting everything. And it does make sense because anybody now can run for city clerk, and it does take a lot of professional training to do one.
Yes, the elected position, the requirements would be a registered voter within the city of Galt.
To give a little bit of history, though, this whole thing was brought about with the changes in FERS, wasn't that correct? The position, and one of the reasons we had to make the change?
The change was made back in August of '96. So it was actually before I was here.
To the two separate positions?
Before I was in the elected position, yes.
So there's been two positions since '96?
Yes.
Yeah. Oh, I didn't realize that.
Going back through the documents. Yeah.
Really?
And we after researching, that's how they actually separated the duties back then.
So the clerk administrator position would still exist, correct?
Yes, there would be a clerk administrator. Steve's looking.
Well, if the voters approve Measure C and the city clerk becomes an appointed position, which would be an employee position, then there would be an opportunity for the council to merge those two positions and decide what the qualifications and the duties are. But if those positions continue to be independent, the government code actually establishes the job of the city clerk, which frankly there's very few duties that the city clerk statutorily has to perform. The functions that are performed by Liz's office as both the clerk administrator and the city clerk are much broader than are what is enumerated in the government code.
Yeah, there are just a few duties.
And Liz also indicated that she's a master municipal clerk, and Donna is a certified municipal clerk. And I think it might be helpful if you could just briefly give us an indication as to what does it take to get either or both of those certifications.
To become a certified municipal clerk, the City Clerks Association of California and the International City Clerks Association set some guidelines. It's on a credit system. It takes about 2 years to become a certified municipal clerk, and then after that, it's about a 3-year period and that's minimum of 3 years to become a master municipal clerk, attending classes, and you get just a few for conferences, but mostly, classes, parliamentary classes, Brown Act, all the, Public Records Act, just everything a city clerk would need to know.
Yeah.
Yes. So it's about a 5-year period to actually become a master municipal clerk.
Okay, so,
I had a question for the city attorney. You read the impartial analysis, and I know you wrote it. When you read that, it implies that the position would be appointed by the city clerk, or the position of city clerk would be appointed by city council. It's implied, but the actual measure just simply says that it would be an appointed position. Is there any conflict there? I mean, could a future city council say, we don't want to do this anymore, city manager, you hire now? I mean, that's my question.
Well,
because it appears in the body of the language that it is to be appointed by the city council.
There is an opportunity for the city council at a future time to delegate that authority to the city manager. If it is delegated, as with any delegation to the manager, it's not something that's permanent. They can always delegate it and then at a subsequent point in time rescind that delegation. So ultimately the authority would start with the city council. If they desire to delegate it, it is certainly within their authority to do that.
and just a little bit ago, we did change it to be the city council before it was the city manager. Didn't we just change it?
No, that's
The
her
city
position
council?
is the city
No,
manager.
I don't mean who she reports to. Did we just change that? Or do I have that wrong somewhere?
I don't think that's changed. I think that the clerk administrator has always reported to the city council, as far as I'm aware.
There was a clarification that
There was,
came
yes,
forward.
thank you very much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There was something there that came back.
But there
Not
were
very
no
long
changes
ago.
made, it was just kind of
A
clarifying the
clar-
position.
okay.
Yeah.
All right, Mr. Davenport?
Yeah, if this is appointed by city council, then it was turned over to the city manager, say, or if it was just the city council county, would it have to be a unanimous decision, or would it be just by simple majority?
It would be by 3/5 vote of the city council.
So no matter what action took the city clerk, it would, after whether it went to the city manager or stayed with the council, it would be by.
Well, it would, if the voters approve the Measure C, the authority would be with the city council to make the appointment. If they desire to delegate it to the manager, it would be by a 3/5 vote.
Excuse me, the microphone's not on.
On? Okay. My question's for Liz. Liz, as the election official in the city of Galt, if in fact this is an appointed position by the city council, how does the city clerk stay impartial during an election process in which they're beholden to the incumbents or to those people in those positions? Because now, I just think it sounds like, to me, a conflict of interest, even though I understand the rationale behind it. I just think it becomes very easy to be beholden to your boss. And that's technically what it is, correct?
Well, I guess my answer to that would be, I've been through many
Well,
election processes.
I know, but you're elected. These person would be appointed by the city, the city council currently, because you're an elected official, you're elected just like they are. And even though, and I have the highest regard for what you do, you know that. But I'm just concerned, when I read it, that was my concern, is that in that one instance, not in the way of taking care of city records and doing all the other things that the city clerk does, but in the fact that they are the election official in our community. And now the people who appointed that person, they would be running. So that was my only concern about it and how that would work in the long run, because we've seen councils come and go, we've seen things that councils do, people of integrity
are great. We know you're not always going to be here, so when it's somebody else, and we don't know what it is down the road, and the voters choose to change that from an elected to an appointed position, I just think that could be a conflict of interest. Thank you.
Well, you only have one vote, Liz.
I'd like to answer.
Go ahead. You only can vote once.
I have to say that in 2 years, if I'm sitting up here as city clerk administrator, my term ends, if the measure passes, I would not handle elections any differently as in an appointed position. And the fact is, as an appointment to the city council, they will be screening people, the new city clerk, whoever that may be, to make sure they have integrity, to make sure they're going to work for all 5, not just for the 3, whoever the 3 are that, might be in a majority at that point. And so that's, it will be in their hands to make sure they get somebody that will have integrity and be impartial. That's my only answer.
Okay, Al Baldwin. Al Baldwin.
Al Baldwin, the concerned citizen of Galt, and I'm telling you now, if you want to appoint it, I'm for it. And the great example that you have here is you have somebody that's been in this position for so many years, and this could be the guiding star of you getting someone else when it's available. The character of the individual is true, and as Lori says, it could be maybe partial by someone appointing it. But let me tell you, you appoint a lot of people to different positions. That's right. While you're up there. Does that mean that they're owing you anything? Right. Not. Yeah. And you appoint them because of their character, because of their integrity. Mm-hmm. And I'm telling you now, Liz has got great integrity. And I'll tell you, she is impartial in many cases, and she just does it the way it should be done. So yes, 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 be appointed. I think it's great. If you look at other things, and I'm not going to take the time that you could put it on the voter, and the 18-year-old could come in with very little and win the election, then you really got to do some challenges to match what she's been doing all these years. So I'm saying she's done a great job. You guys will do a great job. If you're going to appoint somebody, you're going to discuss it. We don't have confidence in our council. There's no sense in having anybody up there. So, right. You're for the city. That's why you were elected. And we're going to have to think about that, too. But Liz is the greatest. Thank you.
Al. Well, we've got the pros and the cons. A few of them, anyway.
I have a question.
Okay.
Liz, in what way, as city clerk, could you influence an election? As your duty of overseeing the election, I guess, what does that mean? You just collect the ballots, you be sure that signs are not in the wrong place. I mean, I can't see how...
Not the sign police.
Yeah, we know about that. But I'm just trying to see whether there could be an instance, like Lori was saying, and I don't see one, but maybe I'm...
Well, I think any city employee can go behind somebody's back and, but I don't know what that means, because I can't imagine anyone doing that. But no, as an election official, you help all the candidates equally. You're fair to everybody, and
you help them how? By being sure they turn in their paperwork on time?
They have to turn in their paperwork on time. Sometimes they need, sometimes they need help with their paperwork when they decide to run for election. Usually in the months coming up to that point, there's a lot of questions. There's a lot of paperwork to fill out right up front.
Is that reviewed, the paperwork, isn't it reviewed by...
We try to go over it with them.
But no, I mean, does it go to the SPPC or something, to the also?
Well, and the funny thing here is, too, you've got to be nice to everybody in case someone you don't want to win wins. So, I mean, think about it that way,
Well, and we don't want one person to struggle and one person not to have to struggle, and we're going to help them. We try to give equal service to everybody. Whether they're doing long forms or short forms, everyone has questions. Sometimes the candidates, they've never run before, and they might need a little extra help, and so we try to do that with everybody, and just like we try to do that with all the council members. So.
Madam Mayor, if I could just also comment on Councilmember Payne's question. I think that the point here is that most of the duties, if not all of the duties, of the city clerk or the clerk administrator are what's called ministerial duties, which means the duties are specified in the various statutes of California as it relates to how you have to respond to public records requests, how you have to process conflict of interest forms, how you deal with running the election, and that is predominantly the job of the clerk. So I think in a situation where the duties are specified and where it's a ministerial job, the ability for there to be a conflict or an abuse of discretion is very much minimized.
And also, just as the way the council hires a city attorney or the city manager, it would be the same with the city clerk. You're going to screen applicants, you're going to interview them, you're going to make sure that they have integrity and they're going to do the job you want them to do. So it's
Sherry?
Yes, hi, Sherry David, I live in the city of Galt. And I love Liz, I tell you, we are going to sorely miss you, and I hope you stay as long as you can. Yeah. And one of the reasons why I think it's not in anybody's mind how could this position be abused is because you've done such an outstanding job for how many years now and what you do, and have always been impartial and fair and the highest integrity. I think the conflict of interest arises, and it's not even, on the front of people's minds. It is when you hire someone, when you appoint someone, and they have to make decisions concerning enforcement of election law, how much help they're going to give on getting your ballot statements together, whether or not that sign goes there, that sign goes there, whatever the case may be. These are things that do impact elections, and they are subjective, not in most cases, but could be, and there is a possibility for an abuse in that way. And it just is, I think, on the face of it, creates a conflict. When you're beholden to a council that appointed you, who is running competitively, not against each other, but against new candidates, there would be a likelihood, not for you, but maybe for someone in the future, to say, gee, I've only been in this job for a year. I don't have to face being not elected for my decisions. I have to face being not appointed. And that does create a problem.
Okay, I didn't think it was going to be this long, but I think that one thing needs to be said about those two different positions. And the one that's elected is basically, it just has a few responsibilities as to the one that is already hired. The one that's elected gets $300 a month, correct? And does it benefits and does a few things like the city council meeting and whatever. So the one that's appointed is already you that could be doing all those things, and it apparently hasn't been a problem for a while, and it hasn't been brought up. But there's two very different things that people don't understand about the person that is the one that's elected. It isn't really the one that's the real administrator with all the duties. The one that's elected has very few duties.
correct.
So I think that's, a lot of people don't understand that actually, but we're just trying to put that $300 a month with being at the meetings and doing the minutes over with your job, which you do anyway because you're involved. Correct. Okay, so I hope that kind of explains what the one you're voting for is as opposed to what the one that we already have here that we hire. We're just trying to put those little issues of the elected one in with the hired one.
And I have to say, Kurt, I think I answered your question wrong on...
Because I was thinking
Yeah.
back, I think, yeah, because, go ahead, I'll let you finish.
I think, I'm not sure of the answer, but
Because I thought there was a change in the law where we had to establish, didn't we establish a new position, the clerk administrator, just in the last 4 or 5 years, 3 or 4 years?
I think that it had been in existence de facto for a period of time, and what our concern was before the last election was that it wasn't clear enough, and that if somebody ran for the city clerk position, I wouldn't really understand exactly where the line was between the clerk administrator, the employee position, and the clerk administrator, or and the city clerk. So what we did prior to the last election was to bring forward a job description that made it clear exactly what the clerk administrator's functions were.
Okay. I knew there was something.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Because if you're running for the city clerk position, you're on the ballot. You're not making a ton of money.
Correct.
Yes. Okay. All right, so are we kind of done with that? Everybody?
Report received.
Okay, we're just receiving the report. All right. Then we're going to go to the capital improvement program status update from July 1st to September 30th, 2014.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. This is to provide council a brief update on the status of active capital improvement projects for the city for the first quarter of the fiscal year ending September 30th. And at this juncture, we have one completed project that has been accepted by Caltrans, and that's the Twin Cities Road Roundabouts and Widening Project. And we're pleased to have that. We're still doing final project closeout, but the project is complete. We have 8 projects that are currently under construction, although 4 of those 8 are very nearly complete, and will move into the completed category, I would expect, during the current quarter. I'd like to, in saying 8, if you look at staff reports, you only see 6. We actually left out 2 projects that are very near completion.
Could you read those then?
Yes, the Golden Heights Water Treatment Plant Phase 3 project is currently projected to be completed hopefully later this month. And the well rehabilitation project, CIP number 58H, is also very near completion and probably will be done in the next month. Did you want all of the projects read?
No.
Sure. The 2014 pavement rehabilitation project is nearing completion. You've seen a lot of pavement work around town, and final striping is underway. The wastewater treatment plant project, the large $18 million project, is well underway. The water meter retrofit program, as mentioned earlier tonight, that is underway with several thousand meters already installed and several thousand more to go. The Live Oak Pump Station and Force Main project is very near completion. We're at the final punch list phase of that. We're about to start the Vintage Oak annual lift station. It's not an annual. The Vintage Oak Lift Station Rehabilitation Project has been awarded, and we've held a pre-job meeting on that, and work will probably get underway in the next couple of weeks. More to follow through the weekly reports to council. And construction's underway on the Cimarron Carillion Water Main project. Apologize for the traffic delays and one-lane flagging, but that's going to be a major improvement for the city in terms of the ability to move water east and west on each side of 99, and will open up future development of the Cimarron commercial area to the east of 99. And we have 6 projects that are currently active in the design, environmental, or bid phase. 2 of the most notable that are about to move to the active construction phase, we're pleased to report, are the Railroad Quiet Zone will be going out to bid here within the next few weeks. And the Fallen Heroes Memorial, by your action earlier tonight, will move immediately to the active construction phase. We also have under a redesign the Regional Law Enforcement Training Center, which is the firing range and related improvements. The C Street Central Galt Complete Streets project is under design. 4th Street Parking Lot and Open Spaces project will move forward in spite of the loss of redevelopment funds due to SACOG grant funding that's available for that, as well as some CDBG funding. And Bicycle Lane Improvements project is also grant funded and is moving towards final design. So we're very pleased to provide that. Happy to answer any questions you might have.
Thank you, though, for doing that.
Well, I think we're really pleased to see that all this is coming along well right now, too. I think we're still going good the way we planned, and I know a lot of people are going to be happy about quite a few of these things, particularly the Quiet Zone and the Town Memorial. So it's good to see it's right around the corner.
Steve, I wanted to also say the Cimarron off-ramp is very nice now, and I don't know whether that was I know I had talked to you about this a long time ago, whether that's Caltrans or whether you did it. Whoever did it, it was a great job.
Well, that was part of our 2014 re-up project that's just being
good.
completed. That was one
great.
of several. We've got a couple more ramps that need attention. They'll probably be in the next phase.
That was the worst one, I think, though.
Yeah, and that was great. I think we all had complaints about that for forever.
Good way to take it an axle.
Councilmember Cruz?
Quick question. You mentioned the Regional Law Enforcement Training Center. Where are we at? Are we still at a stumbling block with CDCR, or are they actually higher ups moving on us?
I haven't received an update. Our police chief slipped out. Maybe
He snuck out on
those
you.
more.
Yeah,
I'm
really?
trying to get some meetings with them to cement something, because it's really going to be one of those, we need to have an agreement. If we're going to build it, they need to come.
The chief's still trying to work on setting up a meeting with all the higher ups, the CDCR, to make sure we get the right people in the room, so stay tuned.
Okay, any other comments, council? Okay, so can I have a motion to receive the report, please? So moved.
Second.
Call for the vote, please, Liz.
Vice Mayor Singleton.
Aye.
Councilmember Payne.
Aye.
Councilmember Campion.
Aye.
Councilmember Cruz.
Aye.
Mayor Powers.
Aye.
Unanimous.
Okay, now we're to the city clerk's report.
Okay, I know everyone's dying to know the score to the Giants game. They're up 7-1.
What? 7-1.
7-1. World Series. Just a few reminders. On October 23rd, the Commission on Aging will meet in the California room over at the Parks and Recreation Department at 5:15. The Galt Youth Committee will meet on November 3rd at 6 p.m. here in the council chambers. November 4th, everybody get out and vote. It's election day. And that brings us to our next city council meeting of November 4th.
Thank you very much, Liz.
Thank you.
Comments by staff. We'll start over here with you, Inez. Tony? Inez?
Yes, actually, it is with sadness that I announce that Mike Sylvia, Deputy Finance Director's last workday is tomorrow. But I'm sure that council and fellow co-workers join me in wishing him the best in his future endeavors. So,
Will there be cake? I said, will there be cake? We'll come over and say goodbye. No, he was a great asset for the short time he was here.
yes,
He really
absolutely.
was.
Absolutely. So he will be missed.
He will be missed.
A few development updates for you. The Barsetti wine tasting room in downtown is well underway and expecting a November opening date. We're not sure exactly which date, but they are moving right along. L&L Wood Products, we had the groundbreaking last week, and they have already begun pouring their slabs. So they'll be they're moving along very quickly at this point, and we'll be looking at inspections probably daily out there to keep moving forward. McDonald's also obviously up there, Twin Cities and Stockton Boulevard is moving forward, doing their grading of the site right now. We do have the first draft of the Eastview specific plan in. Staff is reviewing that, and we'll be meeting to give our feedback at staff level to the consulting team and the applicant early next month because they are also anxious to get it before the decision makers in the early part of next year. Creekside 3 has the map recorded a few weeks ago, and they just submitted the other day their plans for their new home models out there, and that'll be going to Planning Commission in November. And then finally, we had our second meeting of the Zoning Ordinance Update Ad Hoc Committee the other day. Went very well. We discussed procedures as far as approvals and certain items such as the land use matrix, changes to that, as well as setbacks and whatnot. We have one more meeting. We'll be definitely discussing landscaping, parking, and signage for sure. That'll be on November 20th. We're not sure exactly at the venue yet because it seems like every time we turn around the room is taken. So we'll find a room. We're trying to keep it at the 4 to 6 time slot, but we'll definitely be posting that on the website. And that's all I have for you.
Thank you. Mr. Winkler?
The only item I have to report is kudos to City of Galt residents and businesses. The second month in a row, we are achieving very high levels of water conservation. I thought that probably August was going to be our banner month. It was a 13-year low for the month of August, and we have exceeded that with 20% in August. For the month of September, year-over-year savings 23% over the prior year, and that remains a 13-year low also. So keep up the good work. We're getting lots of calls and neighbors advising other neighbors of issues, and our limited staff are out there trying to work with that and we're still doing the education mode, and we're just, again, wish to encourage people to keep up the good work. We're well ahead of what the governor has requested that cities and counties and agencies throughout the state do. Doesn't mean our work is done, but we've got a good start, and that's before we've implemented metering. So I think it bodes well for the future.
Great, good. Armando. Chief.
I think there was a question regarding the range while I was out of the room.
Yes, there was.
I actually went to CDCR's training center over on Twin Cities and met with them 2 weeks ago. They were supposed to come back to set a meeting up for the city manager, myself, and some of their command personnel, and I haven't heard anything from them. And my intent is to go back over there again tomorrow and see what we can do as far as getting this meeting set up. I know that they're still using ION because when I was on vacation the first of this week and the end of last week, I saw their vehicle driving up to ION as far as going to the firing range up there. So I don't know what the issue is. It appears that we're in agreement, and I know that one of the council members has in fact talked to them, and there just seems to be some kind of a problem with meeting times with certain individuals there. I don't know if they different schedules or whatever it is, but we'll get back on that. We're currently, as far as the police department, we're going through 20 hours of training on community policing problem solving. That started on Monday morning. The first class will end tomorrow at 12, and then the second class will go through and start at 1 o'clock. And we'll have the entire police department trained in that by Friday. And I think that's a real step forward. That's something that I wanted to accomplish from the day I got here, and we were able to finally, through council's assistance, through some money as far as in our budget, be able to put on that class. And that's about all I have.
Thank you. Jason.
A couple of quick things. I want to tag on what Tony said about Eastview. For the members of the public that want to get a preview of that development, there is a website that's available. It's called eastviewca.com. So I encourage members of the public to go up, visit that website, and check it out. The other note I would say is we're still progressing with discussions with Delta College. We have a meeting scheduled next week with their consultants to continue the evaluation of the Liberty Road site. So we'll continue to keep the council apprised of that progress. That's it.
Thank you. Steve? Nothing. Councilmember Campion?
Nothing.
Councilmember Cruz?
Just a little note on CDCR. You say when, because I've got 2 members up in Sacramento who are just chomping at the bit, waiting for you to say, for me to give them the go. So if CDCR says keep stalling with you, let me know.
Okay.
Thank you, sir. And one other item. I was going to bring something up, but I yield to there on this later on because she is in charge of the group, and I think she's the appropriate person to bring it forward.
Thank you. Okay, Councilmember Payne.
You know, I just want to be clear that the city attorney has the consensus, because we talked about it during the public comment about coming forth with a draft for the marijuana ordinance. And then you said, well, you know, that's the time for public comment. Do we need anything further from the council to give a consensus asking you to move forward with bringing a draft of an ordinance?
My understanding was that the council wanted me to come back and report on options relating to the regulation or banning of medical marijuana in both indoor and outdoors. And after the council considered those options, then the council would give me direction as it relates to what they wanted embodied in a particular ordinance. So my plan is to come forward with, after consulting with the police chief, to come forward with a report on the options to the council.
So I think we can let the public know that we are moving forward with that.
Sure. And everybody's in consensus, right? Yes. Okay. Vice Mayor.
That's it?
Oh, I'm sorry. That's it?
That's it.
Okay, Vice Mayor.
Just something real quick. The Police Activities League, just on the 11th of this month, along with our police chief, had a fundraiser at the Chevron Station, 7-Eleven. I had my interns there for PAL, and it was a good fundraiser, very positive. The kids worked very well, and I'd like to thank them. So we will be doing this hopefully on a monthly basis. We will be announcing the next station will be holding a full service. And full service, if you don't, well, some may not remember, some do. It was the when you used to pull up the gas station, they pump the gas for you, they wash your windshield, and they check your oil. So we're trying to bring some of that back, and if they want to donate to the PAL organization, that's great. If they don't, we're going to do it anyway. It's community service, just to kind of bring back the good old days of when you didn't have to pay for all that kind of service. That's all I have. Thank you.
Okay. I'd like to remind everybody that this Saturday is the Ton Memorial Run. It starts at 8 o'clock over at Cibola Center with pancake breakfast and registration. I'm kind of doing this by rote, so I'm pretty sure that's how it goes. Then you sign in there. Then it's going to be a lot of fun, and if anybody wants to come, it's a motorcycle run, but you can come in your cars and bring a classic car. My daughter's bringing her '63 Ford Galaxy convertible, so we're looking forward to that. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. The more the merrier, and the more that come out, the more funds we'll raise for a very worthy cause that's starting to move and shake, so that's really a good deal.
Yeah.
I also want to remind you to put on your calendars December 11th for the senior luncheon. You'll blink your eyes and it'll be December 11th, so please put it on your calendar. I'm expecting you all to be there to serve. And on another thing, I'd like to bring back the previous decision regarding the water meter fees to be amended at the next council meeting. So I'm hoping that you're all in agreement with that.
Absolutely.
And with that, I'll adjourn the meeting.